Good evening, friends. I'm Venkat from the PGDM-Hybrid team of Welingkar for working executives. Today we have Professor Venkat Iyer, who's going to deliver a short talk on introducing positive habits at the workplace.
Hello friends, this is Venkat Iyer and here I am going to be talking to you about introducing positive habits at the workplace. That's right, introducing positive habits at the workplace. The topic seems to be very generic. Now I'm going to be focusing on what exactly do you mean by positive to begin with. So you can make a note of it. Positive. Now what is positive? Anything positive has to have a purpose, a direction and a goal orientation. Anything positive should have a purpose, a direction, and a goal orientation, right? So if I am working for an organization, I need to develop certain habits which are nothing but repeated patterns of behavior. Repeated patterns of behavior, right? So what we will be exploring in the next 15 minutes is to understand how to go about developing certain types of patterns of behavior which are going to take us towards the needs of the organization. That's what we mean by developing positive habits at the workplace. How do you do it? So it starts with you as a person. All human beings are good. Everybody wants to do an honest day's work at the workplace. Nobody wants to shirk their work to begin with. The way we look at our work and we look at the people around is what actually makes a major difference. When individuals are alone, they have one set of a behavior, and when they're in a group, they have another set of behavior. Now, what's an organization? An organization is nothing but it's a collection of resources. An organization is nothing but a collection of resources. Among the resources, we have the 4 resources which we talk about in management: men, machine, materials, and money. Now, men forms the most important resource because that's the resource that actually creates value in the organization and also creates value for the customer with the help of the other 3 resources. Now, man as a resource is very, very, very difficult and challenging to understand. Individually, I am one, and when I'm in a group, I'm something else. So I've taken 2 dimensions to understand how for you to become a positive person at the organization. 2 dimensions you need to focus on. Number 1, what we call it as effectiveness of your work, and the second one is about the harmony that you create with the people around you. I'll repeat: effectiveness at the workplace of whatever work you're doing, and second is the harmony that you create at the workplace. What is effectiveness? Effectiveness is basically whatever work I've been asked to do, am I doing it properly? Am I increasing my efficiency and doing it better and better day after day? All of us will agree that this is an important imperative of we as a part of any corporate entity. Even for that matter, any group to which we belong, the group comes together for the purpose of creating some goal, a goal has to happen. And if the group remains together over a period of time, then every time we do the same activity, it has to be more and more efficient. That's one of the important dimensions for which I have to develop a positive habit. The other dimension I talked about is the harmony part of it. I'm using the word harmony because it's to do with behavior. It's about you and me interacting. When we are in an organization or when we are in a group of people, there's always a need for us to maintain each other's comfort zone of working. I'm sure all of you will agree on this. Now, maintaining my comfort zone and your comfort zone when we both of us are together is a very important imperative of creating a certain amount of harmony, because when we don't feel threatened, when we feel comfortable with each other, all of us will agree that we shall be in a better position to give effectiveness. I would rather say that the foundation of any organization to grow is harmony among the people who are working there. When the harmony is established, when the understanding comes between people, then the effectiveness automatically follows. So my contention is that if we have to develop positive habits at the workplace, we have to focus on 2 aspects to which we as an individual is contributing. I need to be harmonious with myself to begin with. I need to be harmonious with myself. So am I a person who's diligent in whatever work I do? Am I a person who's taking my job function in the way it is to be taken as expected by the organization? Do I have certain types of behavior, certain habits which are making me diligent? What is meant by diligence? It simply means that a work task is given to you. Are you doing it in the best possible manner? Are you in line with the task expectations? Now, for me to be diligent, I need to have certain personal habits. One, I need to be on time. Timeliness is one important thing. Number two, I need to have a discipline of whatever I do. When I say discipline, it has a start and a finish. Number three, I need to have a willingness to do something that has been told to do to me. The willingness has to come from within me. It's a habit you create. Because all of us will agree and appreciate the fact that all the tasks that we are doing is not to our liking. And when a task is not to our liking and we have to do it, then the willingness goes for a toss. So developing a willingness is a very important aspect of a positive habit. Having done this, we must also develop the attitude of listening. It's a skill which very few people cultivate. Listening is not about keeping quiet when somebody is talking. It's about absorbing what the other person is talking, understanding it from his point of view, which we call empathy, and then having understood it, reciprocating to that person in that particular manner. Obviously, all of us know that when I am listening to you or you are listening to me intently, then it automatically comes that you are empathetic with whatever I am speaking to you or talking to you. Now, when you say empathy, means you know from what platform I operate, on what basis I'm talking about it. So listening is another skill which we need to talk about. And the most important thing is when we're working in a team, we have to learn to give feedback and also to take feedback. Now, when we say feedback, there's something going on in the team, an activity going on, a few people are behaving in a certain way. So we need to have some means by which this is told to them. Now, telling them is just not plain communication. It has got a certain way of doing it. There are trainings that take you towards how to give feedback. So one should learn to be in more and more number of groups. In more number of groups, when you are interacting day by day, you'll find that you are honing your skills of learning to give feedback. In many scenarios, I have noticed as a trainer, as a consultant, that people are reluctant to give feedback. Or when they give a feedback, it's too very brusque and too very blunt. Feedback has to be given in a way in which we are addressing the issue and not the person. Make a note of it. When I give a feedback, I'm giving the feedback on the issue. Something has gone wrong. Instead of doing blame fixing, which is to do with the person, we rather look at what has gone wrong with the issue on hand. So feedback, my contention is that let's give feedback, let's learn to give feedback on the issue or on the matters in which we are all working together. As much as feedback is important, we've got one more dimension to us, which is called as disclosure. We are working in a team and there is something that is required to be done, and there is some skill I have with me or something which I need to tell the team, the information which is going to be very useful for making the team effectiveness happen. Now, if that part of it is not properly taken care of, I don't disclose or I don't accept certain things about me, then the team effectiveness comes down. Now, these two, willingness to disclose and also to give a feedback, these two are two important dimensions which you need a lot of practice on this. Initially, when you start doing this, giving feedback, it's usually from a point of view that I know and you do not know. But feedback cannot be personal in the corporate context. It has to be always issue-based. Similarly, when we talk about offering a disclosure, the disclosure also has to be something to do with the issue. Now, whenever you address issues and not people, you'll find that the harmony is usually established. All of us will appreciate that there have been times when we have gone through certain burning issues at the home, at the office, or it could have been in the social surroundings which we are living, and you must have found yourself or maybe some people who have addressed the issue, even in the most turbulent moment. So when the issue is addressed, people normally look at themselves, they don't take it personally, they take it from an issue point of view. So an important habit, I would say, is learning to understand that everything that is happening in the organization is what we call it as depersonalized. When I say depersonalized, I mean it's nothing personal. It's all about you, me, every one of us are working in an organization to get things done. And none of us are friends nor enemies of each other. We are just there, and we are just there to get things done. So, going back to the first 2 points which I talked about, effectiveness and harmony. Effectiveness is very important. But for effectiveness to happen, I need to create a harmony. And harmony comes only when I am radiating harmonious vibrations around me, for which I have to be very collected, centered. I've got to be very open to listening as well as speaking. Now, these basic soft skills, as we popularly call them, is easily said than done. Cultivating that over a period of time is a very important aspect of your personal grooming. It takes time for certain people, it's a little challenging for some, but that's an important thing to be done. Once the effectiveness starts, once the harmony starts developing within you, you will find that more and more people are attracted towards you, and whatever you are talking, whatever you are relating to people, they seem to be willing to listen to you. The willingness to listen, according to me, in my experience, is a major turning point for converting an organization from ineffectiveness to effectiveness. If I want an organization to be effective, first let me cultivate everybody around me, including myself, into very good listening. When we listen, we shift our focus from the person to the issue. One of the magic mantras, if I can use the term, which I can give for you to become effective in an organization, is learn to listen. Because when I listen, I give the person importance. I de-link the issue from the person. And when I de-link the issue from the person, it becomes easier for us to handle the issues and address it. Obviously, that requires a certain very, very basic skill, a skill of languaging. I come to that now, the skill of languaging. Many of us, well-intentioned people in the workplace, well-intentioned people in the home, well-intentioned people elsewhere in the society, we have language patterns which are very challenging, which are not conveying what needs to be conveyed in terms of issue. So when I'm going to say something to you, and if my languaging is, inverted commas, improper, what happens? You start misconstruing it. So we need to develop proper languaging. Now, in languaging, it's a whole universe of